All right, so let's talk about a preview for the 49ers versus the Tennessee Titans. So we're going into this week. What to expect from the Tennessee Titans? What do they present as a challenge for the San Francisco 49ers? I got to say, Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard is the offense. I mean, no offense to Cam Ward. He's kind of been a work in progress. Just from watching some of the games, you would think that guy still has a long ways to go. But what they have on their offense is Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard has been their weapon. Like, if you want to go to the great value or go Dollar General for a CMC, Tony Pollard is kind of like that, but that's their offense right now. Like, their receivers, like Calvin Ridley just hasn't been quite all that great since he's went to the Titans. I mean, you look at the rest of the receiving cores, not flashy. Their tight end's okay. I mean, you look at what they have on their offensive line, it's all right. You look at their defense, they got rid of a lot of their guys on defense. So they're in the bottom fifth in total ranked defense. So this should be a very favorable matchup for the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, this defense is like a bend don't break defense, but they can give you a lot of yards. And they've given up a lot of points. They've given up like the third most points on defense. So that should be very favorable for the San Francisco 49ers as far as like scoring wise, because we've been scoring 26 plus points consistently like since then, so we kind of been on a rolling on offense. Christian McCaffrey will have to be the big key because the Titans cannot cover a receiving back. They have a hard time stopping a receiving running back. So that's the kind of matchup you look at, and you can utilize your weapon on that matchup. I think the best receiver in this matchup would have to be Pearso, but I don't know if this is the game he breaks out. We don't know yet, so maybe. Or we go with Jennings. I think Jennings is going to have a monster game. I think what Jennings is going to do on this offense, he's going to make some big plays, of course, but he's going to get a lot of opportunities. It may not be as close to what he had against the Rams type of game, but he'll at least have some type of impact in that game. So you look at the rest of the offense, I expect Brock Purdy to at least have one of his best performances because if Shedeur Sanders had over 300 plus yards passing on passing game, we should be able to have no problem torching that secondary because their secondary is pretty much depleted with injuries or depleted with the fact they got rid of some of these guys. So there are going to be some guys that you are not too familiar with, but they've been making a couple key turnovers here and there, but they're not a defense that's going to save a team like Tennessee's offense, because Tennessee's offense isn't quite at the level because outside of the Cleveland Browns game, they've been beat a lot. They can't even score as much as that. This is the most points they've scored all season last week because last week they scored 31 points, but I highly doubt they're going to score more than 31 points against the Niners. They're probably going to score below because of what you saw with Cleveland the previous week when they scored 24 points against the Raiders. They couldn't even score anywhere past 9 points. So we got to definitely get pressure on Cam Ward. Cam Ward is still a work in progress. I would say at least you can admit that Shedeur Sanders is a better quarterback than Cam Ward. Cam Ward is still somebody that still has to learn, and I think next year will be intriguing for them because the next coach is going to have to work with this kid. So I think that's the weird part is he's a rookie and he's still learning. He's still learning to the offense, and it's still going to take some time. But I think this is beneficial for us because even with our depleted defense, we've got some hungry players. We got guys who can really make plays and all that stuff. So as far as all that, I think you're going to see the Niners completely take care of business. And I think the huge factor to this offense that's going to have a big game is going to be Christian McCaffrey, of course. I think Jauan Jennings is going to have a monster game. I think Purdy's going to put a statement kind of performance where people kind of just say whatever, but they're going to say, oh, it's the Tennessee Titans. Oh, of course you're supposed to have this kind of game. But I think respectfully, our defense is going to be able to get enough pressure on Cam Ward. They're going to be able to limit Tony Pollard. And I think it comes down to them getting maybe some garbage points. But I think in this score prediction, as far as all that, I say 34-17. I think that's probably the points they're going to get so far. Tennessee's offense is tricky at times, but I think they'll probably get around 17 at the most. it wouldn't shock me if they get 10 points. But I think this Niners defense is making big strides. So they're making key stops. Like against the run, they gotten better against the run. They're 7 against the run. They're able to generate a little bit of pressure, but getting Yoto Gross Matos will be huge key for this Niners defensive line to make stops. So I think our secondaries is clicking pretty well. You're seeing the linebackers is kind of a work in progress because of the injuries with Fred Warner, but I think we're still going to make enough to stop Tony Pollard. I think it's going to force Cam Ward to throw the ball more than usual, and he just doesn't have the receivers to make the plays. I mean, you only have Calvin Ridley, who's not the same player. You got other receivers that I'm not too familiar with, like this Dyke guy, whatever his name is. You got a bunch of these nobodies, and you got a tight end that's pretty much like, I don't even know how good he is, but it won't matter because we're still going to beat the Titans. I think Tennessee is probably going to compete a little bit, but I think at the end of the day, we're probably going to steamroll these guys. So I look at it that game, so I say 34-17. I think this game will take care of itself. No disrespect to Tennessee. I just think we're a hungry team right now. We're on fire. I think it's going to be hard to stop us, so we're going to click on all cylinders and take care of business from here on out.